Hello, 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 everybody. It's so great to be back here live. We did this last week and I enjoyed it so much that I thought I have to be back. I want to do this again. I might even do it next week as well. Hi, Cecilia. Rachel, so good to have you here. Please let me know where I know you from, if we do know each other, and give me a wave as well, because that will let me make sure that I see you. We've got some people from Brazil here, and let me know where you're from. Where are you from? How do we know each other? As we are embarking on this amazing conversation about identity. Hi, Taylor. Great to have you here, Taylor. Mario's here. Welcome. Andrea, who is in Italy. Beautiful. Charmaine. Charmaine, I was in your neighborhood yesterday. And I was thinking about you. Will, great to have you here as well. Deb, beautiful to have you here. This is a conversation that I've been looking forward to having all day because we are talking about identity, and that's at the core of my work, identity. And I was thinking about this, and the reason I wanted to do another live was because in the last live I had talked about going from being nervous to raise my price, which was like $30 or $35 per session, an hour as a psychotherapist when I was in supervision, and to now being somebody that receives $100,000 for private coaching. And, it's like, what is that? What happened between $35 a session to $100,000 for a package of coaching with me? And what happened as I look back is my identity shifted. The difference between $35 a session and $100,000 for one-on-one coaching is a difference in who I am being. Michelle from London, Ontario, it's great to have you here. Does that make sense? That it's actually around who I am being that made the difference. Many times we go to things like strategy and we're wondering like, okay, what is a strategy that can give me the ability to be able to maybe increase my prices or charge more? And we're looking at strategy. And so if it helps you, think of this as a strategy. Think of mindset as the strategy that it takes. Cheryl, it's so good to see you here. Yes, Anderson. So beautiful to see you here. So it's strategy. But the strategy is mindset. So sometimes we need a strategy. So just consider this the strategy. You see, the version of me that was charging and comfortable receiving $35 a session was not the version of me that was comfortable receiving $100,000 for a coaching program with me. If somebody had said to me, Hina, when I was making $35 a session, I'm going to give you $100,000 to work with you for the year, I would not have been able to accept it. And some of you might be thinking, oh no, Hina, I would have no problem accepting it. I am telling you, you are fooling yourself. And I say that with all the love. Like, why? Why would I not be able to accept $100,000 when I was receiving $35 per session? Amrita, it's great to see you here. Why would I not be able to accept it? It was because I didn't have an identity that matched it. I would not be comfortable accepting it. I didn't feel worthy of accepting it. I wouldn't know what to do with it. And even if I did accept it, I would actually give it away really quickly. I wouldn't be able to have it or hold on to it. Can any of you relate to that? Where you are maybe receiving things, but you can't hold on to it. It's like it comes in one door and it goes out the back door. This is all self-image. And I want you to know that that's really good news. Because if it is self-image, that is the one thing that we all have control over and that we can actually change in ourselves. So that's what I had to do. I think many times we think we will act a certain way or be a certain way when we have the thing, but we won't have the thing unless we are being that way. And I want to talk a little bit about being. If you've studied this kind of material, you may know or have heard that our thoughts turn into things. Give me a heart if you've heard that before. Our thoughts turn into things. That's right. Anderson says that sometimes they feel like someone might think that they're not worthy of it, and it lends to doubt and disbelief. Yeah. Hi, Donna. So happy that you're here. So thoughts turn into things. We've all heard that, right? We've heard that, Cheryl. But there's something before thought, and this is actually what we've been studying on my morning calls this week, because we've been studying cause and effect. And what comes before thought is being. So your thought springs from your being. Your thought springs from your being. Who you be. Because there's a certain internal chatter. If you think of the person with your goal, they have a certain internal chatter. When you think of somebody that can receive $100,000 for a package for coaching, they have a certain type of internal chatter. And I can tell you that that internal chatter does not think $100,000 is a lot, or too much, or it's a big investment. So there's a certain way of speaking to ourselves. There's a certain way of moving through situations that are attached to the way of being. I'll give you just a simple example that happened. When did this happen? This happened yesterday. So I have a program called Inner Circle. And this is an elite program. This program is specifically for 7-figure entrepreneurs. And they work with me very, very closely. We're like this in a small container. It's a closed cohort for 1 year. And we had somebody join that needed to change our date for the kickoff call. So I would have to go and speak to all of the other people that have joined to see if we could change this date, because this person was going to be out of the country. And it's very important that we are all in person. Now, my thought is not, I had to speak to about 6 people. If you had to change a date, and things have been booked for this date, like people have a calendar invite and we're changing it. So we changed it from June 20th to June 4th. What is your thought before you have to go and change a date and go and reach out to people? What are some things that one might think before they have to go and change this date? Jossie, it's so good to see you. So some things might be like, I don't know, it's going to be hard. I've got to, they may have conflicts. Allison, it's great to see you. Oh, Anderson says, I'm asking a huge thing of people. They might not think I'm serious about it. That's right. Frustrating. This is going to be frustrating for them. How does it look on me, as somebody that I asked them to hold this date and now I've got to ask them to change that date. So the way that I hold it in my mind is this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy, and we're all going to end up, it's going to be easy and everyone's going to agree to the new date. And the new date is actually going to be better. And it's going to be the one that will, it is the one that we were meant to do. And I can tell you, it was easy. I think within an hour, the date was changed. And people were really excited about it. Some people actually said, oh my gosh, that's so much better. So that's an identity. Do you see that? That's coming from a way of being. And my way of being is that everything is always working out for me. My way of being is I'm not worried about judgments. And I don't have judgments about this. So when you're thinking about crafting your 7-figure self, then what you want to do is think about who do you need to be, because it's a different person. So that's what I meant about from my coaching, from, being a psychotherapist and when I was in supervision, $35 a session, to now having private coaching with me at $100,000. That is a different way of being, and I have different thoughts about money. But how the heck did we get there? Does anybody want to know how? How do we do this? How do we create this? That's right, Allison. Everything is happening for you. Allison, it is so good to see you. Oh my gosh, where are you in the world, by the way? Allison was a client of mine years and years, like pre-pandemic, years and years ago. It's so good to see you. You believe you're worth it, Anderson says. Yes, you believe you're worth it, and you have no resistance to accepting it. You believe you're worth it, and you have no resistance to accepting it. So what I realized is that my identity, especially for me coming from, the psychotherapy background at that time, when I was doing that, the paradigms or the beliefs around money and wealth was very limited, and there was a lot of scarcity in that world. It's similar to some artists, the struggling artist, but it's kind of like a badge of honor, in that if you are being compensated for your art in a way that's making you wealthy, then you're a sellout. And so what happened was I had to really move out of that way of thinking, and also realize the value and the worth that I have, that I bring. So I do not get paid for working hard. I don't. But my clients are not paying me because they're like, oh, Hina, you're doing this and you're out here and you're doing this and this and this, and you do so many calls, every single day and all of that. No, my clients are compensating me for the impact. And the truth is that my belief and my way of being is that they can't actually pay me my value. Like, they're still getting a deal at $100,000. And when I was thinking about Inner Circle and we were sending out some of the invoices for Inner Circle this year, I was like, oh, this is too low. What happened? What are we doing? So we'll have to change that next year for sure. And so it was identity, though. For me to shift that, I had to start to change my identity and do my own rewiring and change my belief system. So what is a limiting belief? What's a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a belief that limits you. My beliefs were limiting my bank account. And I was thinking, feeling, and acting from that limiting belief. And it was impacting my bank account, my quality of life. And so I had to create a whole new identity to step into, but I didn't know how to do that. I mean, how do I'm not around people that were receiving this kind of compensation for their work. So I just started to put myself into rooms, and it started by me showing up like you are on something like this. We're doing a masterclass called Charge Your Worth. And if you just put Charge Your Worth in the comments in your DM, you're going to get the information to it, including an information to a VIP call. And that's happening in a couple of weeks. The masterclass is free. And then we have a VIP call as well. And it was putting myself in rooms like that. It was putting myself where those conversations were happening, but also so that I could start to see what was possible for me. And this is when, oh, good, Joy is doing it. Anderson, can't wait to see you there. And for me, and I'll say something about those of you that are signing up, sign up for the VIP. That's a part in changing your self-image, is seeing yourself as a VIP. So as I started to go into the rooms and meeting with people that were talking this way and very comfortable with wealth and money and just seeing it as a tool and energy, that started to shift things. And then I started to realize that I wanted to pay for proximity because I wanted to be in this energy. Jesse, great. I love all you. All of you are just like, charge your worth, charge your worth, charge your worth. You are going to get the information. Tanya, it's so good to see you here. And so I did that. I would pay for proximity basically because I needed to, I was of a certain age where all my life I had certain beliefs, limiting beliefs. So a limiting beliefs is limiting me because I'm acting out of that belief for all these years and years. It's not going to change necessarily. It can, but it's not going to necessarily, at that time, it didn't change overnight. I had to now start to listen to different material. But if I wanted to have the identity of a 7-figure person, it's not going to be about what they do. That's part of it. But it's what do they think? And I didn't know what they were thinking. How was I going to get into the mind of a 7-figure person? So that's when I started to put myself in the rooms where 7-figure people were, where it wasn't a big deal. And I could see how their language was so different. So different. They didn't even use words like, oh, that's expensive. Like, I just started to become so aware of the language that they were using, and they weren't saying things like that is expensive or that is a lot. It was because it was simply neutral. They weren't making decisions based on price. I will do that if it's this much. They were making decisions based on what they wanted. There were ways that they were sharing with me like what they thought. So they would really be thinking about, is this going to add value to my life? As opposed to, oh, what am I going to get out of it? I need to know all of the details. Like I've got, 10 million questions that I've got to ask, because there's a deep trusting in themselves. What they had was faith and certainty. Faith and certainty. And what I realized was like, holy crap, we can all do this. We can all do this. So when you start to, like you said, Anderson, start to embrace this identity of a 7-figure identity and really start to think, okay, what would the person with a 7-figure identity do? What would the person with a 7-figure identity think? How are they showing up? What are they involved in? And many times when I was feeling stuck, Anderson, you'll love this, what I would do is I would ask myself, well, what would the person with my goal do? What would I do as somebody with a 7-figure identity? And I would then start to, with my beliefs, I would just be telling myself, I am a self-made millionaire. I am a self-made millionaire. I am that I easily generate 83.33 plus thousand a month. I am that my clients love to pay me. My clients pay in full and upfront. I am that I provide massive, massive value, which is worthy of high compensation. And so this is who I built. And I thought, okay, so what does she do? And you've got to understand that this is all in the imagination, which you have. Nothing outside me has changed. Nothing externally has changed. This is all in my imagination. But then I would start to, do you want to know what another thing I said? Every time, Anderson, I was paying for something, I would say this in my mind: thank God I'm rich. Thank God I'm rich. Thank God I'm rich. Be paying for a coffee? Thank God I'm rich. Doesn't matter if I'm overdraft in my bank account. That was what I was saying. I was embodying wealth. I was wealth. I was abundance. I was in overflow. And so at the same time as I was doing that, Andrea, the other thing that I had to do was start to increase my internal capacity to receive and for it to feel safe, for money, success, and visibility to feel safe. And then there were little things that I would do. So for example, I would come on something like this. I would put charge your worth in the chat. And then when I would see that there was a VIP, oh, by the way, today, for anyone that's on this live or listening to the replay, you will get 50% off the VIP. Okay, so then, even without knowing that though, I would have signed up for VIP. Because I'm like, well, what would the person with my goal do? They see themselves as a VIP. So I'm going to do things that I have access to be a VIP. And I remember, it's funny because I'm going to Langdon Hall with some clients in a couple of weeks, which is this beautiful little resort place in Ontario, a couple hours away from Toronto. And when I remember going there and I was meeting some of my colleagues there years and years ago, like way pre-pandemic. And I'm only going for a night or two. So I had my carry-on suitcase and they said you could either self-park or you can valet the car. Isn't Langdon Hall so nice, Andrea? Gorgeous, right? And so I decided, and I remember having a moment, I can just self-park. Honestly, it's not even that far from the entrance. It's always nice to walk. But I thought to myself, no. From my millionaire identity that I am creating, that I'm building, I'm going to valet. Now, the reason this was important was because the valet felt to me, to my previous version of myself, would feel like a waste of money. But to my millionaire self, it's coming from what is convenient. This way they can just take the luggage out and store it until my room is ready. So I realized, because I'd been doing this work and creating this identity, that I am making decisions from a different place, not from lack. It was from what would I love? I would love to valet. What would be convenient? It would be convenient just to drive right up, hand somebody my keys, let them take the luggage out, and tip them generously as well. That's right. It's from a mindset of abundance. And so so there was first the being. There were the things that I was telling myself, the things that I was writing about myself. I was embodying this. Nothing external has changed. The bank account is still the bank account and things like that. But I'm starting to also change my language, what I'm repeating to myself, and my actions. And I'm getting into rooms where this is very, very natural. It's not a big deal. It really is not a big deal. The other thing that I do is I start to understand wealth. And I understand that sometimes even when I'm pricing, and some of you do this, you're pricing out of fear and lack. And I had shared this on, I think we had just posted it, how it was actually easier for me to sell when I increased my prices because it was a proper match. When I was undervaluing myself, it was very stressful. It was stressful actually on my bank account and on my energetic bank account as well. I would be in overdraft there too. And the reason it was challenging to sell was because I was sending a double binding message. I didn't feel good about the price. And so when you start to create the identity and you embody it, you then will start to notice things change in your external environment because it matches up. And there's times, honestly, when you're kind of ping-ponging back and forth, but over time, you'll spend more time in the new place. You're going to spend more time on the frequency of the self-image of a self-made millionaire, to the point that when I realized I had hit that number in the external world, it was beautiful, like it was lovely, but it wasn't a surprise because I'd already been being her. And I'm going to even go into this more when we do the Charge Your Worth Masterclass, which is completely free. Put Charge Your Worth in the chat and then sign up for the VIP call. Not only is it 50% off, but the reason I'm encouraging you to sign up is to start to embody and actualize seeing yourself as a VIP. These were things that I would do. And for those that show up live for both days, I've got a gift. And this is a gift that is part of being somebody with the self-image of a self-made millionaire. There's something in here for you. So, okay. And there's something in here for you. And when you get this and you open it up, and we know that we've sent it to you, these things. This is for those that have showed up live for both days for the masterclass, and then we're going to do a draw. I'm going to leave you a personal voice note of the meaning behind this. And you can win that by showing up live, by making that commitment to yourself. So once you know the dates, I would say move what you need to move around so that you can truly be there and be present. We will have recordings, but of course, to win that, you must be live both days. I wanted to see if I wanted to tell you something else about identity. Okay, so I was just on the morning calls that I do these morning calls, and one of my clients who only joined my program in, I think, January or February, just shared that she had her biggest month in sales in her business. And the beautiful piece is that she did it with ease. She said she felt relaxed. It was the most relaxed she had ever been. There was no anxiety. And so this is the one thing that I want to say to you. It's about the frequency and the energy that you're on. So you can be a self-made millionaire. You can step into a 7-figure identity through hustle, grind, and struggle. Oh, so she joined in Feb, March, April. Wow. That's just like 2-3 months. Wow. Amazing. You can hustle and grind your way to 7 figures. It is simply what I do not choose to do. I choose to create through ease, joy, and love and fun. And the way I do that is by this mix of spirituality and peak performance, and it's what I teach. And that is working with the universal laws. And that's what makes it easy. I let the universe, God, you take care of the heavy lifting. So I let God, the universe, take care of the heavy lifting. And I focus on who am I being. I want to say one last thing about this before we wrap up for today. And first of all, show me some hearts if you're loving this. Are you hearing what you need to hear? Is anybody hearing something and you're like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that today? Let me know. What I wanted to share with you, oh, yay, beautiful. What I wanted to share with you was this idea of frequency. So when you are going somewhere, let's say, I don't know, to a coffee shop, and you're wanting to connect to their Wi-Fi, you would open up settings, go to Wi-Fi, find the name of the coffee shop, and plug in. Now you're on their frequency. You're literally on their network. When you go home, you will probably auto-join your home network. So I want you to think of it this way. I want you, and this is what I did, I created my 7-figure Wi-Fi setting. And that's what I plugged into. Were there times when I would auto-join that lack setting that was on autopilot for all of those years? Absolutely. But then I could come back to the 7-figure setting. So what I want to invite you to do is describe your 7-figure Wi-Fi setting? Who is Cheryl at 7 figures? What does she do? What does she do in the mornings? What is she up to? What does she think when she's sending out proposals? Anderson. Who is Anderson at 7 figures? Amrita, like, who are you at 7 figures? Who do you be? How easy is it for you to receive? Do you have an internal capacity, a large capacity to receive? What's the language of your 7-figure self connected to your 7-figure Wi-Fi setting? In fact, maybe you even want to change the name of your Wi-Fi setting at home to 7 figures. That's just a thought. There are these little things that I would do, like thank God I'm rich. These little things that I would do that would allow me and help me to embody this feeling. Because it all first starts with who you are being. And sometimes people are trying to put a new strategy in an old paradigm. It's not going to work. You can have all the vision boards up all around you. It is not going to work if you're not dealing with who you're being and your belief system and changing things at that level. Victoria, it's so great to have you here. So that's really what I wanted to share today around identity and some of the things that I did as I was creating my identity. And we'll go deeper into this in my masterclass, Charge Your Worth. When you put Charge Your Worth in the chat, you are automatically going to receive an invite to the masterclass, which is completely free, and also an invite and 50% off the VIP. And if I'm thinking that 7 figures is important to me, or I want to increase my capacity to receive, I want to work on my self-image, I would sign up for the VIP. That already is going to shift things for you simply by signing up. It's not when the class happens, it's not when the VIP session happens that you're going to feel a change. You've already adjusted your frequency when you sign up. And again, when you show up live for both days for the masterclass, you're going to receive some things that mean a lot to me. You're going to receive this, something in here for you, and claim it. Tell me if you're the one that's going to win this. Tell me. And you're going to receive this. And when you receive this and you open it up, I am going to send you a voice note. So you're going to send me a message saying, I got it. And I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to send you a voice note about the meanings behind these things. And in particular, this in here. Yes, I love it. Anderson is claiming it. It's already in their mailbox. Right? Is anybody else claiming it? That you've already won it? So this is the thing. It's faith and certainty. I opened the mail this morning and took them. Yeah. Yes, it's faith and certainty. It's behaving and believing and being in that state, in that vibration. So, thank you so much for spending the last 30 minutes or so with me. I love the conversation that we just had, and we will continue it in the Charge Your Worth masterclass. Remember, put that in the chat, in the comments, and you will receive all the information that you need for it. I want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for being here.